You are struggling with your fat loss and you are struggling to see fat loss progress and results because you have no idea where to start. And you most likely starting in all the wrong places by doing all the wrong things. Hence why you keep going in circles and messing up your progress. I know, I did the same during my several failed attempts at fat loss. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 steps. And if you follow these 4 steps down to the T, you are drastically going to kickstart your fat loss expedition. No more guessing, no more overwhelm, just you doing what you need to do to start your health and fat loss expedition so that you can start seeing those much desired results and progress that you want. I will put links in the description for everything that you need to use to start implementing the tools that I am going to give you in this video. It's fundamental that you follow these steps. Number 1, calculate your calories. Once you know what your calorie goal is for the day to place yourself within a calorie deficit, that is when you can then see where you are currently at with the calories that you are consuming. That on its own is going to be a massive eye-opener for you. And sometimes you just need these eye-openers to give you the kick up the bum that you need to get started. When it comes to your calorie goals, there is not one generic amount for 5,000 people. For example, 1,200 calories per day. The only reason that 1,200 calories per day works for a very big amount of people is because it's so few calories and it will be placing most of those people within a calorie deficit. You are an individual and you will most likely require a different amount of calories than what your best friend will require. Your calorie goals are calculated on a few different things: your weight, your age, your height, your gender, and your activity levels. So please head over to my website, link is in the description, and actually calculate your calories, the calories that are going to place you within a calorie deficit. Because once you know that, you will have a damn good starting point for your health and fat loss expedition. If you're not sure about what a calorie deficit is or why calories are important, go browse around on this channel, my YouTube channel. I've done several videos explaining calorie deficits and how fat loss takes place. If you haven't watched them yet, are you really serious about your health and fat loss goals? Because I explain everything in detail. Number 2, download any free calorie tracking app. There are a huge amount of these apps out there that you can download for free. You don't even need the premium version of them that you can actively start using to log your calories. 2 main examples that I use are MyFitnessPal and Fat Secret. But like I said, there's a huge amount of them. Find one that you enjoy using, that you are comfortable with using, and one that is easy for you to use. And on the note of easy, logging and tracking your calories is not going to be easy if you are new to the game. The first couple of days or weeks might seem tedious, it might seem a little bit overwhelming, it might seem like hard work, but guess what? Anything new that you tackle is going to feel that way. The only way you are going to get better at it is if you practice. Now, I'm not saying you have to log and track your calories for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be a life sentence. In the first step, you've calculated your calories. Now, in the next step, you are downloading a food tracking app and you are actively starting to log and track all your calories, all the foods that you eat and all the drinks that you drink. Even if you aren't within a calorie deficit for the first week or 2 weeks, you are learning, you are gaining knowledge about what foods contain what calories. And when you have that knowledge, you can actually start tweaking your plan. You can tweak it in ways that align with your goals, foods that align with your goals. But if you don't know what your calorie targets are and you don't know what foods contain what calories, it will be very difficult for you to know that you are actually in a calorie deficit or not, which is going to make your fat loss a little bit more of a guessing game. And the whole point for when you start out on your health and fat loss expedition is to remove the guesswork, to remove the overwhelm, so that you can actually get on with it and start seeing results. Your login and your tracking on your food tracking app doesn't have to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There are many inaccuracies within the data on these apps, as well as with your measurements and maybe your accuracy of the foods that you are eating. But in general, you're still getting a very good idea of how many calories you're consuming per day. And like I said, that can just help you make more calculated choices moving forward when it does come to your food. Step number 3 is I want you to plan and log your meals in advance. By doing this, you are also removing a lot of the guessing. Oftentimes what happens is you'll eat something first, then maybe you'll be like, oh, let me log that, and then you get a massive shock because it's so high in calories. Whereas if you log in your foods before you eat them, you will know the calorie value of that food in advance. You then have the power to make a calculated choice as to whether you want to eat that specific food or that specific amount of that food. Now, armed with the knowledge before you've eaten it, you can actually make tweaks to what you're about to eat. And not only is logging your meals in advance important, but planning your meals in advance is super important as well, because it's going to give you that structure. And again, when you have that structure, it removes a lot of thinking. It removes a lot of decision making right on the spot. And that, my friends, removes a lot of overwhelm as well. I actually don't know how much more simpler I can make it for you. But again, I'm just giving you this knowledge. I'm giving you this information. You can listen to this till you're blue in the face. But if you don't start implementing on a consistent basis, nothing's going to change. What's that old saying? You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink that water. I think that's the saying. That's like me giving you this information. I can give you everything I have. I can spend every Saturday making these videos, but it's only you that can start implementing these steps to start making the change, to start getting those results. Step number 4, you can purchase my Project Health and Fat Loss digital course. Now I know you're sitting there thinking, oh, but Mandy, I already know everything about fat loss. I just need to start implementing it. Okay, but why haven't you started implementing it yet? Let me tell you a little story about a digital course that I just purchased recently as part of a business mentorship program. This course had to do more with content and everything else around content and building that into your business. I looked at the price of the course and I was like, there's absolutely no way. No, I'm not paying that. It was over 2,000 Rand for a couple of digital videos. And I too said to myself, but I know all of this already. So why should I invest in a digital course if I know everything already? And the answer to myself was, Mandy, you might know everything already, but you are not implementing what you know. I bit the bullet after a couple of months of stalking this course. And here's where the magic lies. I actually started implementing things from that course and things that I knew. Why? Because I invested a big sum of money in that course. I invested in myself. And the moment I gave money out onto it, I was like, now I need to shine. Now I actually need to start implementing. Now I need to show up at the party. But prior to that, because I hadn't made the investment in that course, I hadn't made the investment in myself, I hadn't made the investment in my business, there were certain areas that I was just half-assing even though I knew what to do. It's crazy how the mind works. And you know what? Maybe yours doesn't work the same. But the moment I spent the money on it, I held myself accountable to actually watch all the videos and to start implementing everything that I had learned from those videos. So you might be sitting there thinking, oh, but Mandy, we know everything about health and fat loss, so why buy a digital course? Well, firstly, I can tell you now, I touch on topics and strategies within that digital course that I actually don't discuss on social media and that a lot of people don't actually know. Because let's be real, fat loss is about so much more than just the food you eat or the exercise that you do. And secondly, the moment you invest in yourself or the moment you spend money on something educational or on something that's going to help you, you're going to want to make it work. You are going to start actioning things because you've paid for it now. And paying for it is a form of holding you accountable to actioning it. But hey, maybe it'll take you a couple of months to buy the digital course like it took me a couple of months to buy the digital course that I did. But boy, oh boy, once I had bought it and I started watching the videos, I was like, there's no turning back now, Mandy. You've paid the money already. Let's start implementing, which I have done and I will continue doing. And I will wait for that return of investment. Just like once you start implementing and actioning everything I discuss about health and fat loss, your return on investment will be your fat loss progress. Let's recap quickly. Number 1, calculate your calories. Number 2, download MyFitnessPal, Fat Secret, or any other food tracking app out there and actively start logging and tracking your calories. Number 3, plan and log your meals in advance. And number 4, of course, it's an optional extra, but I know how much there is to be learned within that course. So if I was you, I wouldn't make it an optional. But again, the ball's in your court. Here's another video for you to watch if you're serious about learning more about health and fat loss. I can see on my stats that a lot of you that watch these videos haven't yet subscribed to the channel. I'm going to start deleting you slowly, but I'm joking. It's a joke. I can't do that. But just hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet.